Nottingham Forest hike their season prices by an average of 24%. But what is the validation behind it? Welcome to your Forest News. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest news. Coming up in today's video, we're going to be talking about this price hike. We're going to look at it objectively from a business point of view, but more importantly, from a fan stance point of view as well. We'll be talking about the supporters' trust, who are just a waste of goddamn space. And also, how is this all going to play out if Forest end up in the Premier League or, God forbid, in the Championship? If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And if this video wasn't controversial enough, football prices have already gone and done it. Van Hooijdonk, the free kick extraordinaire. Do you love him or hate him? Let me know in the comments. Do you resent him for the strike, or do you love him for his goals and free kicks? Either way, you can win a signed Van Hooijdonk shirt with the original number 40 when he came into Nottingham Forest on this season's kit, and an instant prize signed framed Rainer shirt if you hit ticket number 20. The link for it is in the description. Go get your tickets. This one is a rare one. Okay, let's jump into the video. And I'm going to start it. Maybe some of you haven't heard. I'm sure most of you have heard about the ticket price hike in terms of the season tickets. And just going to read out some statements by Forest and some claims they are making. So they've put a few bullet points on. They've said it's one of the most affordable season cards in the Premier League. Children tickets are £10 per game for any area of the stadium. Youth tickets 15, same spiel. Senior tickets from under £20 a game, and adult tickets from £30 a game. Our highest priced adult season ticket is the sixth cheapest in the Premier League. Now, what does that even mean? Because not all clubs have yet released their season prices for next year. It almost feels like they're playing with the facts a little bit there. Talking and probably, and I don't know, this is how it reads to me, they're comparing the price that they've just quoted now in terms of the 23-24 season ticket prices across the Premier League. And then what they've done, they've said, and the justification for it is that they've split the city ground into 4 zones by colour, by zone number, be it what you will. And let me just read you out some of the headline prices, because they are eye-watering. If you get a Zone 1 ticket, which is basically in the Upper Brian Clough or the Peter Taylor stand in the middle where the dugouts are, you're looking as an adult at £850. Seniors 650, youth 285, children 190. In Zone 4, which is basically the edges of the Trent end and lower Bridgeford in the corner and upper in the top right corner, you're looking at £550. Zone 2, 700, and the blue zone would be 570. And they're still going on. It's the very cheapest in the division. Let me just read you some of the benefits you get as well. And these, I think, are pathetic. Exclusive gift with season cards, early access to key retail launches, mascot opportunities for children's season card holders. I mean, what they don't say is that you have to pay for that as well. Access to our new Matchday message portal, where you can submit your messages and celebrations for our Matchday program or big screen. That's probably not too bad, that one. Priority access to club events and free digital programs for every home game. So there's a lot. Look, there's a lot, and this is really, really an emotive subject, because you can look at it in 2 ways. You can look at it from the perspective of the fans. You know, I go back to the good old days, like back in the 2000s, where it never sold out. You'd go there. In my case, you could get there in with an NUS card from uni, and you pay 10 quid pretty much for every match. It was always like kids for a quid stuff going on as well. But the supply outweighed the demand in those days. I remember when we were in the old Division 1, I was paying 26 quid to watch Forest play Grimsby. and, you know, all the other crappers in there. And at that time, that was pretty much the price you would pay to go and watch Chelsea if you went to Stamford Bridge or something. So it's just, prices are always ridiculous when it comes to football matches. And it's a case of, the big question here from the fans' perspective for me is two things. Well, three things. One, this is going to cause outrage in the fan base, no doubt. Why do it and why announce it before such a huge game against Everton? Okay, I know we're away, but we want to go into that game with good vibes. Next match would have been, Man City at home. I mean, on paper, we're probably going to lose that. If you're going to piss the fan base off, maybe that was the better time to do it. Secondly, my biggest gripe with this is if you are going to increase the price of the service you're going to provide, then you damn well better make sure that the facilities you provide reflect the services you provide. Walking into a toilet in the city ground, man, you're lucky if you come out with your trainers still on, because the piss stains there just stick to the soles of your feet and rip them off your feet. We all know about the hot water issues. The food ain't great either at the city ground. These are all things that should be very easy for a club to fix. And if you were doing this, if you were a consumer in a normal, outside of football, real world, you wouldn't pay for that kind of service. It's the heartstring connection here that we have with a club that you overlook these things. You overlook these things and you think to yourself, I still love Forest. I still want to go. It's all about the match. It's all about the football. It's all about the love, the desire, and so on. And are they taking us for a ride by giving us these constant excuses? And the excuse as well about the stadium. We still don't know where we stand with the city ground. Are we staying? Are we going? Are they going to redevelop the main stand or not? What's going on with all that? We were told shipping containers were coming up in the corners this season. They haven't happened. So there have been a lot of false promises from Forest, and ones that they haven't cashed out on. So those are a couple of the major gripes I have as well. And also, I think they're pricing out the younger student generation, if you like. My age, 22. Because, as I said, in my day, you could go in with an NUS card, £10, pay on the door, always going to get a ticket. It was affordable just about, for me. I mean, everyone is in a different situation. You look at some of the student prices now, and they're hiking up maybe 400-500 quid on what they were paying before. Now, some would argue, okay, it's going to be the bank of mummy and daddy that pays for it. But not all students or people, I mean, you don't have to be a student to be in that age bracket. You could be, just starting your career and things like that. You're trying to save up for a mortgage. You're trying to save up for whatever it might be. And you're now in that dilemma, in that football moral dilemma. Can I afford to go or not? So that's one other thing as well. Well, there are many other things that kind of give me a gripe about it. But if we look at it from the club's perspective, the club put out a kind of waiting list for season tickets with no guarantees. And they tweeted out, we'll get onto their tweets in a second, that over 11,000 people have signed up for it at a cost, I believe, of £10. That's 110 grand they made just from people queuing up. Now, that in itself, I don't know if I agree with that. I know a lot of other Premier League clubs do that, but they're basically taking money for old rope from there. But the point of that, it shows the demand and the potential that Forest could have in terms of a capacity. That's a waiting list. And this creates that fear factor for the current season ticket holders, that if they wait too long to renew or they don't renew, then there's 11,000 people waiting and knocking on the door wanting those tickets. And with demand, in this case, outweighing supply, Forest are going to do this and probably look to take the hit in terms of annoying the fan base. There is no reversal going to come on this one. And in a way, commercially, you can understand it if you detach yourself from you as a supporter from it. But I just think it's too much too quickly. I've always said, if you can't afford to go, don't go. Yeah, it's not you can carry on living, technically speaking. I know we're all emotionally attached and what have you, if you don't go. And there has to be other priorities in life, family, bills, all that stuff. But there has to be a bit of common sense and reasonableness if that's such a word, when it comes to the prices that they do. And on average, to hike it 24% is astronomical, in my opinion. But the bottom line is, if you can't go, someone else will take your seat, because that's the draw of the Premier League. Now, the other question is, well, what happens if Forest, God forbid, get relegated? These will still be the prices. They won't reverse them. This is what's going to happen. And when the club released a statement on it, they basically said, we're basically planning to be in the Premier League next season. I don't know if that fills me with hope, joy, or anxiety, or all of the three. But, you know, you can plan for the best case scenario, but you should also plan for the worst case scenario. And then how would their spiel read out? They're saying that they're the 6th cheapest in the Premier League. What would that make us in the Championship? Could you imagine the prices that are being charged at, Huddersfield and all that? They won't come anywhere near Forest. Forest will automatically become the most expensive one in the Championship. But what are your thoughts on this price stuff? It's very divisive. It's very divisive. So we're approaching this with objectivity, a little bit of emotion, but I really want to know what you guys think. Okay, I just want to touch on the Supporters Trust, because, I've made no secrets about my thoughts on them. They're a waste of space. They really are. I've seen Supporter Trust from other clubs who hold their club, their feet more to the fire than our lot do. They're just like a chocolate teapot as far as I'm concerned. And they've released a statement on this. And I'll give them some credit. They've made some interesting points on it. I'll pick out a few of one. The significant restriction on youth pricing, for example. Concessions will impose massive increase on that section of our supporters who should be being nurtured as the future fan base of our club. I fully do agree with that one. It's the same with the seniors as well. They made a point on that. There's no provisions for reducing price increase should the club suffer relegation in the Championship. That's what I mentioned to you guys earlier. The club have stated that their intention is to keep the season card prices amongst the most affordable in the league. This claim ambition would not be met in the Championship, quite the opposite. Again, so I've already said that, so I do agree with them on that. Their points in general, I agree with. But so what? It's like me or you sitting here, we're saying and thinking the same things. They're the ones who are meant to hold the club to account. They go on the fan advisory boards, and they literally, as far as I'm concerned, they're basically a mouthpiece for the club. And I'm just going to say it. I've never really seen them in recent times influence anything at all. They were asked, why not tell us about this before? They said, well, they got no wind of the prices coming up. So what's the point in you? People are paying membership fees to that. You have to pay a membership fee just to vote in that, if they had an election or what have you. And it just feels like it's a mouthpiece for the club. And I think the club needs to be held to better account than the way they do that. We've seen them interviewing Tom, we've seen them interviewing Nick before softball questions, comfortable questions, no real accountability being held up. And I just don't think they've, apart from making good points on this, what have they done to move the needle on it at all? So that's my 2 cents on them. Look, no hate towards them. I'm just saying, they're meant to hold the club to account, so we should hold them to holding the club to account. That's just my opinion on that. But what do you guys think about the Supporters Trust? Let me know in the comments down below. Look, there's a lot there in the video for you guys to kind of get your teeth into and get your thoughts in on the comments down below. I guess I'll close with this. The point here is, if and hopefully when Forest stay in the Premier League, you can expect this season in, season out. And as I said at the start of the video, I didn't mind it too much last year because the club had frozen prices in previous seasons. We'd had COVID just before that, where Marinakis was keeping the club running. I know as well that within the club, this has caused all kinds of debates and arguments and, maybe even friction within there in terms of the prices. But who is to really blame for the prices? Or not blame, but who is the decision maker on this? At the end of the day, it's going to come from Marinakis and his closest. And where he's pumped in millions and millions into the club, does he have justification to do this is my question to you guys. And if you think he does, then we have to ask the standard question. How much does this move the needle for Forest in terms of their income? With most of our income coming from Sky money or television rights money with BT, etc. And with stupid contracts being handed out, we've seen it, Harriata on what, 20, 30k a week? You cancelled his contract 2 years ago. You wouldn't need a price hike on these kind of things. With players who have been bought who never played for Forest, maybe the recruitment side of things, had it been done better, could have prevented this. And when you look at the model they use in the Bundesliga, I've seen the president of Bayern coming out saying, what are we getting by charging an extra 100 quid on a season ticket for our, the match going fans, or someone who's been saving up to get that one game in that season? Why would we want to charge them more when it doesn't move the needle of our income that much as a club? And this is the point it comes to for me. Yes, we all understand there's inflation, there's price hikes in every day and everything that we do buy. But there's that, and then there's taking the piss. And I feel Forest have gone too far with this time, in my opinion. But if you agree or disagree, let me know. There'll be people who are on that waiting list who are hoping maybe for a price hike, which pushes some of those people who have been in those seats for years out of the equation, so to speak, so that they can get a chance to go to the City Ground. And I think that's what the club is banking on, that they've done their research, they've done their due diligence, and even at this price, they will sell out the City Grounds. And that's what it boils down to. This club is going from being that homely, feely club into a commercial club. And if we want the Premier League, then we just have to get used to that, because that's how all the other established clubs run. Is it the right thing to do? Is it the wrong thing to do? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed the video and haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And we'll catch you on the next video. Go get your Van Hooijdonk tickets as well. I'll leave the link for you on the end screen. Come on, you Reds.